Israeli ambassador to the UN warns of a hot night in Israel. Guys, this is not stopping anytime soon. Like it's going on right now as you're going to be watching this video. It's going on right now. This is a suggestion via a channel member. Let's go and check it out. Whew.
Joining us now for tonight's big close-up is Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for being here. Let's pick up where Peter left off. What does Israel hope will be coming out of the G7 meeting, and what's next in this war that seems to have started?
Thank you for having me. We expect moral clarity. Moral clarity means that the world will understand that we are actually doing the dirty work for the entire democracies all around the world. For decades, Iran played around. They chose the path of deception, of lies. And we decided that we are not taking the chances. We believe the Iranians. On Friday in the Security Council, I looked at the Iranian ambassador and I told him, I believe you. When your leaders say that you want to exterminate the state of Israel, we believe you. When you say you want to build a nuclear bomb, we believe you. So we take it very seriously, the threat of Iran. And what we are doing now, we are eliminating the risk for Israel, but not only for Israel. Today, those ballistic missiles are flying into Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. They can reach New York City and Miami. Give them a few months, they will have the technology and the ability to do that. So we are preventing Iran from building not only a nuclear bomb, they are actually building a ballistic missile power which can compete with the U.S. and Russia combined. That was their intentions. What we are doing now, we are blocking those ambitions.
Are you confident, though, that you're doing enough to make sure that Iran is isolated, especially with the rest of the Middle East, that Iran is here and they're here alone?
Well, I speak with many friends from the Gulf area. They will not say it publicly, but they are very happy to see what we are doing now. They feel safer when they see our aircraft flying over Tehran and targeting those military bases. But look what happened yesterday. We are targeting military bases, infrastructure of ballistic missiles and nuclear reactors, and they are targeting our cities, our neighborhoods. Right. Unfortunately, last night was a very difficult night. 10 people died because of those attacks. And also tonight is going to be a hard night in Israel.
Ambassador, I want to ask you about the United Nations, because obviously you're the ambassador to the United Nations. And that body, is criticized by many for being sympathizers of Hamas. They certainly, United Nations, they don't shy away from criticizing Israel. We have something for you to watch, and we'll get your reaction.
Let's see this.
Supporting Israel today is supporting war crimes against humanity, and deliberate undermining of global peace and security.
Dozens of children are dying of starvation. The images of mothers embracing their motionless bodies, caressing their hair, talking to them, apologizing to them. It's unbearable. How could anyone?
And Ambassador, we were taking a look at some of the resolutions coming out of the United Nations just last year. 17 condemning Israel, and collectively only 6 condemning the rest of the world, including North Korea, Iran, Syria, and others. So what kind of support do you think Israel can expect from the United Nations in this war?
Well, we saw hypocrisy in action. October 7th happened 20 months ago. The UN was not capable until today to pass one resolution condemning the atrocities of Hamas. And this body was established 80 years ago after the Holocaust, and they saw what happened. They saw the footage of what happened to us on October 7th. They were not capable to pass a resolution condemning Hamas. It shows that you need leadership. We are waiting for the new U.S. ambassador to come in very soon, and I'm sure that together we will continue to fight back against the hypocrisy of the UN.
Ambassador. Okay. I mean, okay, bro. The problem is that, guys, Israel is an interesting place, right? Full of interesting, ideas and things like that, specifically in a region that is notoriously known for being hostile to any outsiders that basically come into the region. Yes, I understand I understand the concept of genetics, so we don't have to have that conversation. They belong there, right? But the problem is that, guys, depending on the angle you're looking at this at, seriously here, depending on the exact angle you're looking at it, is going to decide how you actually feel truthfully and deeply about what Israel is currently doing, the concept of Palestine, et cetera. Because if that wasn't the case, then there wouldn't be any protests, guys. Let's just be honest here. I'd rather live in complete truth than one-sidedness in any type of conversation here. So that's really that's my opinion specifically on that here. Now, what's going on with Israel specifically and Iran, what they're doing, the mullahs are out of control, bro. They're out of control. Okay, specifically the ones, obviously the mullahs in Iran, they're out of control, bro. The people specifically are absolutely in need. Let's say they have no problem kind of speaking, let's say, moderately secretly, let's say, also, kind of about the concept of democracy. They do want democracy. They want to be able to not live under the tyranny that they pretty much experience on a daily basis here. They really want that. And based off of a couple of the, like a previous, like one of the princes specifically that's been exiled, he's recently also said the same thing. So guys, listen, there comes a time where you're going to have to stand up to the person specifically that is attempting to be your country's detriment, right? Trying to kind of invade on the concept of your sovereignty. These mullahs are out of control. The last thing they really need was any type of nuclear or anything, bro. I'm telling you, they don't need that. Not them, right? To be honest, I don't want Russia to have it either, guys. Let's just be real here, all right? I don't want Russia or Iran to have it. I don't want China to have it. Listen, anyone that is basically adversarial towards the West, I'm not sure that I want them to have it, right? But that could also be a bias that I specifically have coming from the West, right? Because I think we can kind of, I think we're fair enough to kind of see things out and not allow any type of like specific religion to control every single motive that we do have, and we were not going to release any type of nuclear or anything onto anyone at all, unless unless we're kind of reciprocating a nuclear type of scenario at least. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with that, guys. But let's continue.
Sir, follow up on Lydia's question. Iran is taking out civilians. Israel
Right.
is taking out military leadership and military sites.
Right.
Inside Israel, Iran is seen as a multi-headed beast, an octopus. Hamas is an arm, Hezbollah is an arm. The head is now fighting civilians in Israel. How does the United Nations escape that reality?
Well, Doctor, the UN, they tend to blame Israel for everything. And that's what's happening now. Instead of telling us, thank you very much for what you are doing now in Iran, taking care of the threat, they are blaming us. They put an equation between Iran and Israel, and you cannot make that equation. That's a false equation. But we will continue. We are determined to make sure that the threat will not be there. Prime Minister Netanyahu took a very bold decision. It's not easy for a prime minister of a tiny country. Look at Israel, 9 million people. In Iran, you have 90 million people. Look at the map. Iran is bigger than Israel by 70 times.
Yeah, but you have our technology, right? Like you have our money. Let's just say that, right? We are your piggy bank. So in Iran, it has none of these things. So I get it, bro, but understand the footing is not equal in this context. You may have 9 and they may have 10 times more people. The footing is not equal. Even if you had 1 million people, the footing would not be equal.
Million people. In Iran, you have 90 million people. Look at the map. Iran is bigger than Israel by 70 times. But still, we are very determined to make sure that we can live peacefully, even if it means that now we are paying a heavy price.
Last question. How does this end?
Well, I believe it will end without the threat of Iran. For decades, people spoke about it. The UN had deliberations around it. JCPOA was not successful at the end. We all know what happened with that agreement. At the end of the day, Iran will not have the nuclear capability.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you for being here. Israeli Ambassador Danny Danon, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Very insightful.
Hey, Sean.
All right. Yeah, I agree at the end here. The only way for this to stop, at the end of this here, how does it end? Is that they're going to have no access to any type of nuclear or anything. That's just going to be the reality of that scenario, specifically as long as these mullahs and royal family are in charge here. period. No, they don't want that. The people don't want it. Like specifically that type of leadership, because they've been seriously living under craziness, guys, since like the 70s. It's been wild, guys. We used to be friends. You understand that, guys, right? We helped build a good amount of certain places within Iran. We used to be buddies. Then all types of craziness happened. Okay, but yeah, it's definitely going to end without them having access, guys. Now, in terms of the UN, I kind of want to reiterate this here because I don't want my opinion to be taken like wrong, even because that happens every single day. So here's the thing, guys. When it comes to the UN generally wants to fight for the little guy, right? That's it. That's what they do here. They fight for the little guy, the guy who was at the bottom. They're trying their hardest to kind of make it, let's say, and they're just being completely overwhelmed by an overwhelming force. Okay, so I'm not sure why you're expecting the UN of all places go somewhere else, right? The UN of all places, no chance. They're always going to look for the person, like regardless of whatever you are saying. Okay, they're going to go for the little guy generally. And you're not the little guy, Israel, right? You're not, because you have the United States of America in your back pocket. And I mean literally your back pocket. We do what you say, right? So that's the problem. So we're going to have to, so if you want to get some type of resolution specifically coming from your angle exclusively, you're going to have to find another governing body, let's say, that can assist in some scenarios, because it's not going to be the UN. It's not. Guys, nope. Because they recognize, they say, oh, Iran is Iran and Israel is Israel, but Israel has all this technology and Iran doesn't. See what I'm saying here, guys? I mean, yeah, Iran has weapons. Okay, the majority of the weapons that were basically used by Russia, in the Ukraine came from Iran, right? And now we're getting kind of word and notice that China is starting to send some things to Iran. So like understand, like things are happening kind of behind the scenes and they're unfolding very fast. The fact that the Israeli ambassador is basically not pointing out that it's going to be a hot night. Listen, we've seen there's live footage going on right now, guys. It's not stopping, guys. The stockpile of missiles that Iran has is disturbing. Okay, disturbing. But all right, listen, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. I'll try to respond to as many of you guys as humanly possible, guys, right?